What's up guys, so in this video I'm going to teach you all about negative SEO, pretty much everything you need to know about it, right? So how to protect your website, what is negative SEO, how can it affect your site, and what are some of the risks involved that you need to know to make sure that you can avoid being attacked by negative SEO in the future. Now, when it comes to negative SEO, basically this is a form of attacking your site so that your rankings drop on Google, right? So there are certain ways that people can manipulate your site, even if they don't own it, even if they don't have access to it, that can hurt your rankings and destroy your rankings on Google so that you lose all the traffic, all the hard work, all the energy and time that you've spent on your website. So this is a really serious issue and one that you need to be aware about. So when it comes to negative SEO, this can involve hacking, it could involve spamming your site with dodgy backlinks, it could involve DDoS in your site so that you get overloaded. There are all these ways to attack your site. Now, what do I mean by this? Well, for example, when it comes to spamming your site with dodgy backlinks, there's certain services out there that you can pay for to attack your competitors, and it's something I absolutely don't recommend. I really don't like this tactic. It's something that can be very, very harmful, and it's not good for your brand, your reputation, if you do this sort of stuff to other people. Unfortunately, there's a very slim chance that you may be targeted by negative SEO in the future too. For example, right, let's look at negative SEO when it comes to off-page link building and spamming your site. Well, basically what people can do is they can go onto a website like Fiverr.com, they can buy like 50,000 backlinks and get them built instantly to your site. They don't have access to your site, they don't have any control of your site, but it's easy for anyone to send dodgy backlinks to your site. And this is a problem because what they can do is build all these spammy backlinks, point into your URL, and all of a sudden Google's going to pick this up in its algorithm. It's going to think potentially that you're trying to manipulate your rankings with excessive link building, and this goes against Google's link schemes. So their guidelines on basically how to ethically do SEO and how to optimize your site. So basically, if you're building spammy links to your site in excess, then Google hits you with a algorithmic penalty. Now, the problem is sometimes Google doesn't know. Was that you that was building the backlinks, or was it someone trying to spam your site with negative SEO? So what can happen sometimes is someone buys this service off Fiverr, they send thousands of backlinks to your website, and you receive a manual action penalty in Google Webmaster Tool that says, you know, you violated Google's link schemes and therefore you're receiving a penalty. And this is so harsh because it can wipe out like 95% of your traffic overnight. I've seen it happen. It's savage. It's not something I would wish on my worst enemy. And really, this is a very unethical practice. So what can you do about it? Well, if your site gets spammed with off-page links that are very low quality, low grade, and potentially have a risk of a manual action penalty, then make sure you are checking your backlink profile regularly, okay? Keep an eye out for bad quality links. Use a tool like Ahrefs to monitor your backlink profile, and basically make sure that if you see the signs of excessive numbers of toxic links going to your site, then make sure you get them disavowed. I've actually created a tutorial previously on disavowing backlinks to your website. I think you'll find it very useful. It doesn't take too long to do, but it's incredibly useful if you're getting spammed with low quality sites. So that's something to be aware of. Also, there are other forms of doing negative SEO to your site. For example, DDoSing, right? DDoSing basically means that someone gets a ton of traffic firing straight at your site and overloads your site, overloads your servers so that your website crashes, there's too much traffic on the site, and therefore your pages go down. You know, because servers are not built to handle extreme amounts of traffic, especially if you don't get it regularly. So this is another form of negative SEO, because if your site goes down from a DDoS attack, then website isn't working anymore, your pages are down, no one can see the content on your site, and that impacts your SEO because all of a sudden Google's algorithm sees that when it crawls your site's not working, and therefore all your rankings drop and your traffic drops as well. There's another form as well where people can hack your site, and unfortunately this does happen. The chances are very slim, but it can happen. And if someone hacks your site and they manage to log into your backend, into your control panel, or into your content management system, then they could pretty much do anything to your site. They could take down all your pages, they could make certain edits on your site, they could insert backlinks that you don't want and don't even know about. So you have to be very careful with DDoSing and hacking too. Now, how can you prevent these? Well, first of all, what you can do is install a WordPress plugin called WordFence. And WordFence is a very powerful security plugin that is designed to protect your site from hacks and from any suspicious activity. And actually what it does is it sends you alerts when it sees any sort of suspicious activity that could harm your site. So this is quite a useful tool for monitoring and tracking this. And a lot of website owners out there are using WordFence right now. I highly recommend it. It's free to use and it's only going to protect your site in the long run. Also, what I would recommend doing, and most people just don't do this or they procrastinate on it, but you should change the login page to your website, right? So, for example, on WordPress, the default login page is your URL /wp-admin, and that's where most people log in. And usually people don't change that page, which means that if someone's trying to hack your site, they can send attacks to this default page, and 90% of the time that's the default page everyone's still using. You haven't had a chance to change it yet, or you just haven't got around to it, or you don't even know that you can change your admin page. So I would highly recommend changing the admin login page if you're using WordPress, because it's an easy target and it's the default page that hackers will go to if they're trying to get into your site and send a negative SEO attack to your site. So yeah, change the page. You can do that in your control panel. It's 100% worth it. It only takes about 2 minutes to do once you figure out how to do this, but it's another way to protect your site. And in the past, for example, I've received like crazy amounts of alerts via WordFence for people trying to basically log into my page from suspicious locations. As soon as I changed the admin login page, the default URL, made a big difference, and I don't receive anywhere near as many security alerts anymore. So it's an easy one to do. It will save you 2 minutes, and it will save you potentially a lot of frustration in the future. Now, the thing is, with negative SEO, there's a lot of problems outside of your control, okay? So you can do your best to protect your site. You can disavow toxic backlinks. You can keep an eye on your backlink profile. You can monitor Ahrefs to see what sort of links are coming in. And then you can also install WordPress, and you can change the login page for your WordPress or CMS or whatever content management system you're using. At the same time, there's certain elements out of your control. You can't stop your competitors from trying to attack your site, or you can't stop hackers from trying to hack your site. Sometimes, even though the chances are very slim, you will get targeted, especially if you're in a notoriously sort of black hat industry where all sorts of unethical practices happen. So you kind of have to accept, with any sort of business, not just your website, not just SEO, but in any type of business, there's always a risk. Okay, and the risk is negative SEO that could take away all the time and hard work you've put into your website and hurt your rankings overnight. So you kind of have to be a little bit stoic about this and accept that, okay, there may be people in the future that try to attack my site, or there may be a chance of a negative SEO attack, but you can't be too paranoid about it, okay? It's not a major risk. It happens sometimes. It still happens in 2021, but the chances are very slim. Unless you've made a few enemies or you're an easy target, then you shouldn't worry about it too much. And really, with any type of risk, you can't let these things stop you. You have to see it's a calculated risk. It's out there. It's an issue. It does happen to some sites, unfortunately. But at the same time, don't let it stop you from doing SEO, because the rewards are so high. Now, the other thing to remember as well is that these days, Google's algorithm is fairly sophisticated. So it's not like a few years ago where you could send any sort of spammy links to a website and hurt their rankings and potentially get them a penalty, or even guarantee that you can get them a penalty. These days, Google's algorithm is designed to spot low quality links and to just ignore them, not to penalize every single website that does this. Even though there's a risk of negative SEO, even though sometimes it can work and you can get a manual action penalty, Google's algorithm is upgrading every year, it's improving every year, and it's designed to ignore low quality links as well. So you can't worry about it too much. However, if this has happened to you, what you need to do is use Google's Webmaster Tools and disavow the low quality toxic links that are hurting your site. So thanks for watching, guys. I hope this video helped you. If it did, please smash a thumbs up on the video. And if you want more videos about SEO and link building, feel free to subscribe as well, because we post regularly. And also, I do run a link building agency. That's at juliangoldie.com. I'll leave the link in the description. If you want more backlinks, if you want to increase your rankings with SEO, if you want to get more search traffic to your website, then definitely book in a consultation via our website and we'll be happy to help you. Thanks.